Welcome back, middle part of the radio show. And Ben Leber, at Nacho Leber, via the tweet machine, joins us about this time each and every Thursday. And you can also watch Ben today on Channel 5. Twin Cities Live, 3 to 4:30, Channel 5. That show is fantastic. If you haven't seen it, they mesh interesting interviews with provocative vignettes. So check it out today at 3 on Channel 5. CCRF, for those not up to speed on CCRF, what is it?
Children's Cancer Research Fund, the local nonprofit that is national, and they help out children with cancer and their families as well. So if you can do anything to help, this is the giving season. Please go to CCRF and donate where you can when you can. Much appreciated.
So decade plus in the NFL for Ben Leber. So therefore, the cliche 24-hour rule is something, he knows much about, where, hey, you just won a big game. All right, well, by 24 hours from now, say 3:15 Central, that Monday, after you've done everything at the facility, put that one to the side, move on to the next one. Ooh, that was an awful loss. Don't lament, don't dwell. 24 hours from now, like 3:15, got to have that loss behind us so we can move on to the next one. And habit and routine is very important for football players and coaches. It generally leads to the best of the best. Okay, so I lay all that out because here we are on Thursday. 4-6 is so much different than 5-5 and getting totally healthy, maybe off an exciting win. I mean, it's they got to win them all to get to the playoffs. I mean, They're going to probably have to win them all if they want to get to the postseason, which has some long shot to it. But I guess, that Bears loss, man, when you got the lead with 50 seconds to go, I don't care how many timeouts they have. It just still stings a little bit.
Yeah, it totally stings. And you're right. I mean, if you want this to be an exciting January, then they're going to have to win out. And they're going to have to win out, and I think to make, if we make it to that point, you're going to have to start winning in better fashion than we're playing right now. And I think that we all agree the last couple of games, we've given those games away. It's not like the other team is much better than us. Certainly they're competitive teams, but I don't think that we are outclassed or outskilled by any one of those teams, by Chicago or Baltimore.
No.
So we've given those games away, and that is the frustrating part for me, is just, you know what, if we're going to lose a game, at least make it look good, make it look a little bit more complete. And so, man, at this point in time, that's all I want to see. I want to see a functional offense that's able to move the ball against a really good defense this weekend. I want to see McCarthy play clean. It's just more about, I know that you're going to have some bumps in the road and you're going to play up and down. Just don't give the ball away.
Right.
Don't make those really critical, sort of sloppy decisions that end up in a takeaway for the other team. So it's clean football from here on out.
McCarthy, in all of his starts, in the first two possessions of all of his starts this year, passer ratings 125.9. Yards per attempt's almost 9. It's 8 and high change. First two possessions. Now, fast forward to the fourth quarter at Soldier Field. Final two drives against the Bears. Some very, very tenuous, pressure-filled, high-leverage moments against the Lions. Clutch gene required, clutch gene there. So from those first two possessions to when the clutch gene is required, what's happened? It's in the middle part. It's the middle part. And it's a big middle part, too. But, 3-2. That's a lot of time in there. They got to fix. What do you think?
Well, listen, we talk about, everybody in the league talks about winning that middle 8, that 4 minutes before the end of the first half and then 4 minutes after the start of the second half. I think JJ needs to win the middle 30. So, he's got to expand that window from 8 to 30.
Yep.
He certainly
I'm still focusing on the middle 2. The final minute of the first half and the first minute of the second half. Very important.
Yeah. I mean, yes, that is very important. But, we got to get more consistent play in that middle 30.
There's no doubt.
But yes, I
middle
think
30. Whoever talks middle 30. I mean, it's
right now.
But it's middle 8, middle 4,
I know.
final 2.
I know, that's the point. It's like he's got to do better in the middle of 30.
That's how crazy
that's
this
a
season
lot.
is.
Yeah, we got to start somewhere. He's got to work on the middle 30. To your point, though, it's like you see what he can do when the quote unquote plays are scripted and he can just let the bullets fly. You know, like he's just out there just playing looser. I wouldn't say he's playing super loose because he still has some pretty errant throws. We had a couple balls on the first 2 drives that were like, excuse me, what was that?
Yeah.
Which one were you trying to throw to? Like when you have to think about which receiver were you trying to throw to there?
Yeah.
That's concerning. So sometimes it can look really, really bad. But the point is, based on the stats you mentioned that, hey man, when he's relaxed and he knows what's the game plan, and he knows kind of what to expect from the defense, he can play pretty good ball. We just have to get him in that mindset in quarters 2 and 3.
Nordo and I pine for the days we received the opportunity to chat voluminously about J.J. McCarthy. Okay, off games, off press conferences, things like that, because things have either come together or we all can see, hey, things are coming together here, starts 15, 17, 19, whatever. So we pine for those days. Neither one of us wants to talk about neurological pathways and footwork, balance. I mean, yes, it's important. But sometimes, like I find myself thinking, I was at his press conference yesterday listening to the kid share it. Tuesday with O'Connell talking about McCarthy. Orlovsky on the tweet machine. Footwork, balance, just hips. It's okay. The lay does not understand it, but that's okay because it's complicated and that's not what we do. It's just boring. It's just exhausting sometimes. It's almost like, because what I'm struggling with now is it almost sounds like a response can be, how did he ever complete a pass at Michigan? How did he do anything outside of running or giving it to Blake Corum or throwing to Loveland at Michigan? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it does sound like sometimes like, did this guy ever know how to play football and play quarterback? And I think that is slowly becoming one of my criticisms and my thoughts about all of this is like, eventually just go and play football. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know any other position where you have to break it down into 6-inch segments for you to be successful. Like your right foot has to plant here with the right weight on the heel versus the toe, and then he's got a step, and it sounds like he's overstriding. Well, we'll shorten the stride down by 6 inches. It's like, at some point in time, like you can't have that going through your head, even subconsciously when you're out on the field, because there's too much to think about. It's too much to think about pre-snap. You got to think about the blocking scheme up front. How can I check our running back to go in this right position because I feel like there's a blitz coming off of our left side and we got to get the offensive line to slide to the right. Then I got to figure out, is this disguised coverage? Is it this coverage? Are they blitzing? You got to think about all that stuff. Then the snap of the ball, then the process of the play, then figuring out where guys are supposed to be, not where they are, but where they're supposed to be, and throwing guys open and throwing to windows. You got to do all that. And you really want the quarterback to be thinking in game, like, okay, I got to tweak my hips this way and shift my weight this way, and
you can't possibly do that.
You can't do that. Like
no, you can't.
You can't build a mechanical quarterback robot. Yeah. So,
but no, it's not like don't do that. It's impossible to do that with everything in front of you. It just
I agree.
Organically has to happen, and maybe that's when O'Connell says that make the simple. The routine is that he's kind of getting in his own way with some simple things that he'll get through.
Well, I understand that you have to work on things. You certainly do. And that's what you work on during practice and especially the offseason. I mean, this is going to be a gigantic offseason for him, even if the season ended right now. Like, even if we see market improvement from today to the end of the season, like, this is going to be a monumental offseason for him when it comes to his fundamentals, because he talks about it himself. Things have to become concrete is the word that they use. And for it to become concrete where you're not subconsciously thinking about it, then you have to work on it so repetitively in the offseason that every single moment in every situation where you're sliding up in the pocket to the right, to the left, you've got to, banana outside the pocket and throw on your left foot going, to the right side. Like, you've got to practice all those things.
Well, that's why he takes his dogs for walks, so he can get a quick 10 reps in. We heard it yesterday. I'm just even listening, and you're dead on about all of that. I have JJ fatigue right now. Either get better or don't get better. I'm rooting for, I'm patient. I'm pumped to see him at Lambeau this weekend. Let's go beat the Packers. It's a border battle. But that just fatigues me when I think about what we're asking the kid to do, knowing that a lot of it, like I'm hearing pitch and catch, I'm hearing concrete dry, and each week there's a new bit. I just go be better. Just please grow on the fly. Show us something, JJ, and I'm pumped to do it, Yeah. I have fatigue.
I'm with you. I do too. We actually were talking to Tom Pelissero this morning on the power trip, and my first question wasn't even about the Vikings or the Packers, because I'm sort of just like tired of like, we don't know from an outside looking in, like mechanically what he's doing wrong. Now there are some people opining on the internet about like his mechanics and whatever. Like, I bet you right now, you could take the top 15 quarterbacks, break down their game. Nobody's playing with perfect fundamentals. Nobody is. Because that's not the vacuum that you live in when you're playing the game on Sunday.
Right.
So at some point in time, I don't care if he's got a clean pocket or he's got a dirty pocket and he's got to get out. Just get the ball to where it needs to go. Like, don't overthink it. You know how to do this. Like, you've thrown a football 10,000 times in different situations already. I know I'm not going to dumb it down to be like, oh, it's not that difficult. No, but just do it. You either can do it or you can't do it. Work on the fundamentals and stuff, in the off season, but that better not be what's going through your head, because you're going to miss an inserting safety that's playing cover 3 that has CJ Ham to the flat, that's going to slough off and not bite on him, and he's going to pick the ball off on a very easy cover 3 situation. Like,
fired.
Exactly. That's what you should be focusing on, not whether or not you're transferring the weight from your back foot to your front foot and your hip is torquing and twisting and my arm slots up here and whatever. Like, that's off-season stuff.
If you were to cast your gaze to say late this year, next year, I don't know, 20 to 25 games into it for J.J. McCarthy and whatever O'Connell wants from McCarthy, and it's hit, and it's all working. So cast the gaze. Hey, wow, it's all working. This is nice. What would it look like?
I would say it's sort of what I'm alluding to. Just play the game of football. When things are on time and you have a clean pocket, make the throw. And if it's not the deep shot, it's not the first read, go through your progressions, check the ball down, have you guys run after a catch, pick up 3 or 4 yards. Hopefully they break a tackle, they pick up a first down, you move the chains. If you've got to break the pocket, don't be afraid to use your legs. You're an athletic guy. Don't be you're coming off a knee injury, you're coming off an ankle injury. I get all that. Look, we watching Michael Penix out with an ACL. Can't play scared. You know what? Like, go do what's best for your team at that given moment. If you feel like you've got to throw the ball in a one-on-one situation to Jordan Addison in the left part of the end zone, you underthrow it when you could have ran for a first down, run for the first down.
Yeah.
Like, I think there are times where you can take calculated risks, but I also think there's times just to be a baller. Just go be a baller. Like, he wants to talk about 9. He wants to talk about all this other stuff. Like, well, that's what a 9 would do. A 9 would take those situations, run with the football, maybe dive forward for a first down, play gritty, play tough. I think that's the sort of mentality he needs to have, and not take some of these risky throws. Just play football, man.
He clearly has the arm strength to make every single throw. He's not afraid of the pressure moments and can move himself out of trouble.
Yeah.
Those are facts.
So do it. So use it.
Just more consistent. He just has to do it.
Just do it. Yeah. I mean, I think we're at this point where, again, I think every player goes through this.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson talked about it, and I love his quotes from last week. At some point in time, all of us as athletes can get into our own head. It's like if you've ever played golf, you get into your own head, and I'm not a golfer, quote unquote golfer, but I've played enough that when your best rounds of golf are usually the first 2 or 3 times you're playing. You know why? Because you don't overthink anything. Mm-hmm. You're like, okay, this is my swing. I'm not going to overextend on my backswing. I'm not going to try to crush the ball because it's the first time out. You end up playing a solid round because you're just flowing with the game. You don't have a lot of worries. Then all of a sudden you're like, man, boy, if I could just tweak this one thing here, I could get a little extra distance. I could be a little more accurate if I do this. And all of a sudden, the next 5 rounds, you're a hot mess because every time you step up to the ball, you're thinking about 12 things that you feel like you should be doing to get a little bit of an edge. And what Justin Jefferson was saying last week was, F it. Just stop overthinking it. Just get back to playing football. Just get open. Just go back to being a dog. That's what's that's what's successful on the football field. So I think at some point in time, JJ included, with a lot of other people, I know that they're facing a lot of criticism right now on the team. F it, man. Like, just go out there and play fast. That's all you got to do. Play fast, no reservations, don't overthink it. And whatever happens at the end of 60 minutes, whatever, that's what happens.
And but especially you, because you played. It's, I mean, I'm going to speak for you here, and if I'm wrong, take me deep. Nobody's saying mechanics, technique, hip turns, footwork. No, we're not saying it doesn't matter.
It does matter.
It does matter.
Yeah, but
so let me ask you this question. And here's why, I'm going to use an example here of a receiver, which is different than a quarterback. But would you say Cordero Patterson is every bit as physically gifted as Justin Jefferson?
To a point.
Close.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, his receiving career, you couldn't put him on the field as a receiver.
No.
Why? Technique, mechanics, depth of route, knowing plays. So, yeah, I'm certainly in no way comparing anybody in this conversation to Cordero or Justin. But you can see the specimens and have the arm talent and have the clutch gene and have A, B, C, D, and E. But if you don't get the other part right, there still will be inconsistency. And it may last for a career, like it did with Cordero.
Yeah, or it may...
You got to mesh it.
Yeah, the thing is, like, this is part of the development. But I think within the development, especially on a week-to-week basis in the NFL, where there's not a lot of time to work on individual craft,
right? Because
there's only so much time. This is the time where it's about, like...
Well, he's got to do it when he's walking his dog. Well, seriously. I mean, when he said that, he's like thinking about it so much. When you walk your dogs, don't think about football.
Yeah, you got to have a separation.
Even 20 minutes.
I know. You have to have a break. And that's why, now that we've been around McCarthy enough, and we've seen his preparation, and we verbally hear it come out of his mouth, the words that he uses, the way that he thinks. I understand why he has to meditate before games, because I think his brain is going 1,000 miles an hour. And to play this position, yes, you have to process at 1,000 miles an hour, but you can't consciously think about all those different pieces. And I do think that comes with repetition. That does come with just being more comfortable and seeing more things, and you start to mentally prioritize what's important on any given play. But I can see why he understands himself, because obviously he does a lot of self-reflection, which is great. He realizes that his best version of himself is when he's the most calm.
Right.
When his brain is like is slowed down.
Quiet mind.
It's quieted mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I think after that first quarter and after some scripted plays and after all that pregame meditation, quarters 2 and 3, I think he loses that because there's not enough time on the sideline for him to quiet his mind. He needs to find a way through repetition or whatever it is to quiet his mind throughout the game.
Ben Leber and Paul Allen, Nordo produces into the second half of the radio show after this. I brought this up with the coach on Tuesday. What about the other kid? The other kid, 22-year-old Dallas Turner. Are we seeing anything from him that sells hope for something big time as he continues to grow?
Okay. Say that again. Sorry.
3-2.
3-2.
Brought this up with O'Connell on Tuesday. The other kid. What about the other kid? 22-year-old Dallas Turner. Are we seeing anything from him that sells hope for something big time as he continues to grow?
I think he had one of his best games this last week, which is great. I continue to think that, I don't want to sit here and project like this is what his whole career is going to look like. But to me, I think he's settling into this really, really dynamic role player that can come in with a healthy Grenard and with a healthy Van Ginkel and give us this extra piece. But as far as being a consistent 3-down player, and comparing him to a Grenard or Van Ginkel, I just don't see it at this point. I just, I wish I could. And I'm not saying that he's not an important piece, but I think what you're looking for with that sort of draft status and that sort of thought going into his career at the Vikings, that he was going to be a 3-down guy, I just see him as a pretty dynamic role player in passing situations, and that's fine if he can go out there and give you, maybe some like DJ Wanham sort of, if he can ever get to 8-9 sacks a year, that's productive.
Yeah, you kind of mentioning Wanham, that was kind of the route I was going down, because I was thinking about, you see statistically, you mentioned it, he probably had his best or most productive game, statistically, certainly, in his short stint here. But I kind of do, I'm starting to look at him as a Patrick Jones, a Wanham. I think about a Fadio Denebo when I think about Dallas Turner. Now, people don't want to hear that given on where he was drafted. But all of those guys are great examples of, in a reserve role, in a spot moment, a Fadio Denebo playing inside and outside at times. We saw the success he had here. He never had that success again once you asked him to play 16 games and play a ton of snaps. And similarly with Dallas Turner, whether he was being used in various spots his rookie season, just trying to get the kid on the field. And now that we've gotten to see him start, sadly, because of injury, whether it was Grenard or Van Ginkel, I'm starting to think like this is a cat that comes in certain spots and can absolutely win the day. But if you got to play him for nearly 70 snaps, like what we saw against the Bears, I'm not seeing the evolution and the quality there.
Yeah, it is one of those unique positions, and every position on the football field is different. We talk about quarterbacks. We just had the last segment, the whole thing about McCarthy. I do think quarterbacks, they need years. Sometimes they need years to really get their full potential and see what they look like. And, some of it's just based off of schemes. Some of it's just reps. All of those things. I think that is very unique just to that one position. A lot of other positions, man, like you can see a lot of where the potential really is and where the reality is in just one season. You can see it in one season. And we've seen, a lot of games out of Dallas Turner. And that's why I'm saying, like, I'm not saying that he can't be a consistent starter. I just think his best role as he goes down and has a long NFL career, that it's going to be more of that pass rushing role in that spot player where he's getting 30 snaps a game versus 65 snaps a game.
What are some of the best routes to beating the Green Bay Packers?
Got to jump on them early. This is a team that is struggling offensively. They're having some issues that are different than ours. Their offensive line is kind of trending the wrong direction. That's kind of because of injury. But they haven't really played great on the offensive line the whole year, and it looks like it's regressing. They only score in the last 4 games 6.5 points in the first half. So they're not a high scoring jump on you early. We're going to get up on, by a bunch of scores in the second half and then let our defense go eat. It's quite the opposite. They're kind of a slow starting offense, and they're becoming more clunky because they don't have Kraft and they don't have, a true solid number one receiver. And then, even their backup tight ends are just not even coming close to what Kraft can do. So you've got Josh Jacobs, who's probably going to play because he's got a knee bruise and he's a tough SOB. And, as long as there's no structural damage, which doesn't sound like there is, like he's going to play.
Their Vox, Wayne Larrivee, an hour and a half ago, 9 to noon. I mean, unless he's playing a game, was like, and he was leaning more towards no Jacobs this weekend.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's news to me. I did not hear that segment, but I was just kind of like paying attention to what people are saying and doing on social media the last 24 hours, and it did seem like he was going to play. Mm-hmm. I would imagine that he'd play. But I don't know if they really look. They're going to miss him for sure. But I do think that they can running back by committee this thing for this, at least this one game, and be okay. Mm-hmm. I think they could manage the run game with the 2 backs that they have behind. It's going to come down to Jordan Love. I mean, can he find some consistency with having lack of pass catchers. Can their offensive line hold up against our defensive front, which is pretty dang good and can get after the quarterback? That'll be the big thing for us is, can we shut their offense down in the first half? Can we jump on them? And for us to play with the lead, we've seen our team in spot moments play with the lead. Can we grind on them in the run game? Because as good as their defense is, I do think that you can run on these guys, especially if you commit to it like we did last week.
Mm-hmm. Maybe a dumb question. Is Micah Parsons a full game player? Because I see him like, you want to talk about clutch. We look at that in QBs. Like Parsons, when you need the sack, it feels like late moments of games, he finds the sack. I also see him leaving the field for not insignificant periods of time. And so now it's like it's Edgerrin Cooper, it's Rashawn, and just productivity out of their front seven for most part is pretty stable. But is Micah truly a full game player? And maybe jumping him early is part of that conversation in terms of how we beat the green and gold.
Well, he's proven to not be, a 3 down 4 quarter player. And I think that he understands that if you listen, you want my best, you want me to be the closer, you want me to be impactful on the money downs, well, then you got to give me a little break. And I do think that he's so twitchy, he's so explosive that if I'm, is it Halfley? Is that
Yeah.
If I'm Halfley, then I would say, listen, dude, like I want you at your very best when we need it. If you need to take a breather here and there, that's fine. We rotate guys on our defensive front too. So is he a Max Crosby type? No, he's not. And, only few people are when you're that explosive and that twitchy to give it your all that, for every snap for 4 quarters. So I'm not going to say that he intentionally takes plays off because of his attitude or his mood. I just think that he understands if you want my best, I got to have a few breathers, and he's going to come back on when it's, 3rd and 6 and they need a sack, or it's in the 4th quarter and there's a couple got to have it plays. He's going to be out there though.
Lastly, Bills are at the Texans tonight. For some reason, the other day on the radio, I said I like the Bills to get to the Super Bowl and represent a middling AFC. So I guess I'm all in on that one. But I do believe it is like the playing the Patriots at Gillette or Denver at Denver. Okay.
Yeah.
Give it to me now. I mean, if I'm somebody in the AFC, I'm like, give it to me now. Sure. So what I'm getting at is I think there's some middling to that whole conference. Kind of led me to Buffalo taking a bad loss to Miami, having to be an eye-opener, needing to work on that passing game, work on the passing game. So I just trust Josh Allen. But anyway, do you have a team from the AFC you like for the Super Bowl and why?
No, I actually have them at the top of my list too. I think they are well coached. They're super thirsty, right? I mean, they are beyond dehydrated and parched to get get into that big game.
Their run defense is like the next day. I looked like, all right, well, I see a couple of things here, but I'm more riding an emotional, organic take. I probably should look at a few things. Okay, cool. They, fan base, coaches, everything. Yeah, we need to throw better. Yeah, we can run well. We need to throw better. They did. Then I looked, their run defense, it's consistently bad.
Well, listen, I think anytime you have, if you just, the 3 teams that you named, Drake May with Bo Nix and Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking Allen.
And Kansas City, I'm tripping. I mean, Kansas City has the 9th defense and the 4th offense, like rankings. Like they win by 19 and they lose by 4.5. They're 5-5.
The eye test doesn't look good though to me. That's insane. And that's, that's where I think statistics sometimes can be thrown out the window. I know there's always context behind stats. Mm-hmm. Look, they're always a tough out. I get that, but you could almost see it when you watch them play. It's not the same team for whatever reason. It's not the same team. I don't think that they have the juice this year. I think when they get late in this season, now listen, they could prove me wrong here as we approach December, but they could flip the switch and turn it on. Because I know how exhausting it is to constantly be in the AFC Championship game and be in the Super Bowl and playing late in the season and having a truncated offseason. I get all that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something about their mojo this year that seems off.
Yeah.
And if you're telling me it's down between the Patriots, the Broncos, and the Bills,
yeah,
I'm taking Josh Allen and the Bills. They don't have that. They don't have to worry about their nemesis, the Kansas City Chiefs. They can play a little bit more free and they can go out there and win the thing.
And Lamar's hurt again. And they never throw the ball down the field.
No.
And they can't sack their quarterback.
We saw that team. Even with Lamar,
right.
they're okay.
Mm-hmm.
To me, You're asking me if that's a championship team?
Right.
I don't see the championship level.
Well, see, I haven't watched the Broncos play this year, maybe half a game. So they were on NFL Network yesterday against the Chiefs. And I sat back and, while doing some stuff, kind of watched it, and specifically when they were playing on defense. And first time I've really watched what they do defensively.
Oh, my God.
Well, but the thing is they have players on their team. I think I know their names. I'm sure, I've come across them in a game call, but the anonymity of a lot of players on that defense, it's unbelievable the run they're getting out of players most have never heard of.
They are so fast on defense.
Yeah, their pass rushing from the edge is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's Nick Bonito.
Bonito, yeah.
That's about the only guy I can name, Well,
they got this roach bit that we've seen before. I know we have. No, it's not the Vox. It's this roach bit who plays part-time, demands 4 hands every single time. So I don't think Surtain played.
Well, Fletcher Cox isn't in the league anymore. You always needed 4 hands on that.
Right, but they have players, they have a corner, Riley Moss. Okay, we've all heard of Riley Moss.
Yeah.
I think we have. He might lead the NFL in pass interference penalties. So this is perfect anti-Vike.
Well, he's been getting openly picked on, too, big time in that game, as you're talking about, Riley.
This is so perfect Sean Payton. I mean, he's able to raise the quarterback, and he's doing a good job. He's got some Marcus Colstons running around at wide receiver, but they know the plays and the depth of route. And his defensively, they lead the NFL in penalties. So he's pushing the envelope on everything.
He's edgy.
He's pushing the envelope on everything. Wow.
I know, but it works.
I know it's working.
It's there's a respect. I know that around here we can't, to put that word with that guy, I know it's going to ruffle a lot of feathers.
Yeah, Peyton's a good offensive mind. That's bottom line.
He's a great coach.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to give him his flowers, man. He's a good coach. Is some of it a little dicey
part
there?
of coaching is not cheating. Okay, so he is a high-end offensive mind. Okay, that's it. I'm not stretching it any farther.
I know, but the other thing is, as a coach, you create mindset and you create culture and atmosphere, and I think,
and you get suspended for seasons.
But there's something to be said. When you know that your coach plays with this edge, I got to play with an edge too.
And you got the other people thinking about this edge and envelope pushing and what's he going to do. No, that's part of it. I mean, wondering.
They have an intimidating style of culture, and I think that matters. Now, again, you may not like it, but if you're a Denver Broncos fan, you love it, right? You're a highly competitive team that's going to take no S from anybody. And, I think a lot of friends, look at the Eagles. That's kind of the Eagles' MO.
Yeah.
Top down. I mean, that's for decades, that's been their whole thing. Now, whether they live up to that, that's another thing. But it's kind of nice that, hey, man, they play with the chip on their shoulder and they don't give a rip.
Right.
And, it wins.
See you Sunday for Appleton, Saturday for Appleton, okay?
Yeah, we'll see you on the bus.
Ben Leber at Nacho Leber. And Children's Cancer Research. Thank you very much for that. Also, watch Ben on TV today, 3 to 4:30, Channel 5, TCL, Twin Cities Live, TCL. Yeah, we. Back after.
News to Nord brought to you by The Casino at Canterbury Park, CanterburyPark.com. Big Black Friday 10K giveaway next week. They're going to be offering trees in the parking lot as well. Trees for sale as Christmas approaches. And by the way, you're feeling the felt every single day there. Poker, blackjack, and table games. And it is a Thursday, which means it's also NFL Pro Pick'em Challenge. If that download of events and informations and bits was too much, totally get it. CanterburyPark.com is the spot to go. Last night, Minnesota Wild hosting the Carolina Hurricanes, and nothing was too much for young Mr. Jesper Wallstedt.
Speedster Taylor Hall races through center. Wallstedt stops him. It's over. Paul in took a shot. Stick save Wallstedt! And the Wild win! Oh, Jesper Wallstedt! The best performance maybe of his young NHL career!
How about 42 saves including that shootout winner. Boldy was the one with the tally. I think that makes him 9 of 18. He might be 50% in his shootout career, Mr. Boldy. But the Minnesota Wild handling business at a high level right now. That's 7 of their last 9 in which they've found their way to 2 points. You dig that. They did have a third period lead. Couple goals by the Canes forced the OT to grab themselves a point. But all the same, they're in the winner's circle. It's the Penguins tomorrow night. And just good to see from that conversation podcast a little later as well with Michael Russo, just some of the things that I think the head coach put it yesterday, PA. I'm starting to see the team beginning to reach and understand their identity as we've seen multiple players reaching their own identity individually. And maybe it starts with the goaltending in particular. Blue liners good in front of them, but whether it's Volstead or Gus Bus, both have been playing exceptionally well during this little winning stint that they've had.
It's the cliched oxymoron. Coach Hines has a good problem. Because he does have, you can frame it up with whatever word you would like to use. Competition, goalie conundrum, whatever, controversy. But he has the 1 and 1A are good, and 1A, it can be argued, has gotten every bit as good, if not better, than the perceived 1. But that's not bad because it'll make both of them better. It's an iron sharpening iron bit. And I think they finished this homestand 4-0-1. They're like 7-0-1 this month. They have Sid the Kid tomorrow night. Then they have the Winnipeg Jets on Sunday.
Yeah.
And they haven't beaten Winnipeg in nearly 3 years. So that has to stop.
To the NBA, feasting on bad teams. That's kind of been the talker with the Howl, the Minnesota Timberwolves. And in a way they did. You know, the final scoreline, 120-109. Doesn't really tell you about the fact, I think they put up 71 in the first half. They were up by 25. Third quarter felt like cruise control. Anthony Edwards can't hit a 3 to save his life right now.
Still, he was bad with it last night.
Yeah, he was like 1 of 8.
Wow. That's weird.
Julius Randle is unbelievable this year. I
know.
think he had 32 last night, something like that. But his combination, good stretch out of Naz Reid lately as well.
Yeah.
These games have been fun to watch, and as we, again, kind of emphasize, well, they're beating on those bad teams. They're doing so in what appears to be a pretty nice fashion.
I like how you put it the other day. Yeah, you didn't box me up. You just you caused a light to go on for me, because beating bad teams over the years has been a problem for this team. And now the preference with the 0-5 against 2 against the Nuggets, 2 against the Lakers, 1 against some other team with a winning record.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, if that doesn't change, then they're not a factor.
That needs to get better.
Beats the alternative, 10-0 against teams with L-like records. Yeah, so I like how you put that.
Well, and that's the key. You're going to get Phoenix tomorrow night, so let's go to Phoenix and get a W.
They have a winning record.
They have a winning record, so that could be that's a feather in our cap. Then you go
unless we lose.
Well, unless we lose, which we're not going to, because I'm trying to think of who's even healthy out there. I mean, it's Booker and Dylan Brooks scoring their points right now.
Yeah, Dylan's scoring like 30 a game the last couple of weeks. How'd that happen?
I dropped Brooks because Jalen Green was nearing a return.
Jalen Green
re-aggravated his hammy and is out like 6 weeks, and Brooks is scoring 23 a game.
They have a player they play about 30 a game who I swear sounds like a blue liner for the St. Louis Blues, Ryan Dunn.
I always love that.
Ryan Dunn, that's not a basketball name. That's a blue liner name.
And they got that Mark Williams cat who I think he was in that Dalton Connect trade with the Lakers, but then he failed a physical, and they question his effort from time to time. But they can get around. Grayson Allen, of course, still in the mix. But get that W. Then I believe it's off to Sacramento, and then as you talked about it earlier this week,
get it, Cam.
A big 3-game stretch, really. At OKC, let's not look ahead. Let's focus on those champs. Let's try to beat them the night before Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And then you handle Boston at home.
Yeah.
So let's mitigate the go-off factor for Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
And then we potentially see Wemby. Now, this calf strain, I don't know how long this thing's going to be for Wemby.
We ain't going to get Wemby.
I don't think we're going to get Wemby. No. He might be out a month with this thing. I mean, he's 7'7", so the calf is a potential problem.
Yeah, just don't let Keldon Johnson clown you.
No, you should not. Absolutely. So go Wolves. Appreciate the victories, and then now we'll finish up with this. You and Leber basically broke it down. I don't think there's any more to talk about here. Texans have the best defense in the NFL, trying to find their way through, I believe, with Davis Mills. Bills, 5.5-point favorites in Houston this evening. 6-touchdown performance for Josh Allen just a handful of days ago. But this defense down in Houston presents problems. You're going to get to hear that actually on the Fan this evening, Thursday Night Football style.
And with fantasy football, Buffalo Wild Wings Blaine, here we come tomorrow with the IHOP.
There we go. No, I can't wait for that.
In honor of Paul, as in Paul Charchian, our next guest. But the bill of fare tomorrow, running backs, Buffalo Wild Wings, Blaine for the feast. Can't wait for that. Really, really enjoying the feast. It's 10:58. We will take you to Charch, as in Paul Charchian, for some fantasy football nuggets and factoids when we return to the final hour of this Thursday 9 to noon at FM 100.3 KFAN.